One team in cruise control mode, the other team in transition, searching for a win after 2 losses. India, well, on course for a semi-final spot is the hope for 1.4 billion. Indians, on the other hand, after beating Afghanistan, Bangladesh have lost to England, they've lost to New Zealand. This episode of Cricbuzz Live is dedicated to a spot called Checkpoint Charlie. Why, you ask? I'll let Mr. Bhattacharjya answer that question.
No, absolutely. During the Berlin Wall, there was a situation where during the Cold War, where East and West Berlin were divided between the West and obviously the Warsaw Pact and NATO. And Checkpoint Charlie was a place that was one of the points in between. They check every vehicle going through. So a lot of spy thrillers, a lot of history associated with the place. The Berlin Wall went up in '61. Did you go and visit there? Because you've been there recently. We've all heard about your Berlin stories.
Well, I happen to be there, but the news which I should share is that humans are not going to be taken over by machines just as yet. That's the news I got from the
Who did you hear it from? We hear it from a neighborhood person. Who did you hear it from?
Satya Nadella, of course.
Satya Nadella.
Just another day.
It was a very interesting chat. Like, I was humbled to be there talking about him, and the show itself was very good. Got to have a great interaction with him. So very excited about that.
Yeah, well, just another day in the life of Zaheer Khan. Just flies across to Berlin, gives Satya Nadella a surprise. Typically, Zaheer Khan just jogs across from 500 meters. His big house is right across the road from the Cricbuzz studio. But for this one, this special day, India-Bangladesh, he's flown 6,282 kilometers to be with us. And it's an honor to have Zaheer Khan and Joy Bhattacharjya in the studio for Cricbuzz Live. India versus Bangladesh. Now, my mind goes back to that day in 2010 when Virender Sehwag, who's one floor downstairs, famously said, Bangladesh are an ordinary side. Can the same statement be chipped out today as well?
Well, I think it depends. If they have to defend themselves, they'll definitely find those series where they've had a good run, they've beaten teams, those kind of inspiration and series are there. So it's going to be a big debate. But when Viru debates, usually he ends up on the winning side. He'll find something or the other, because on the whole, I think what he has been trying to say is that they've been playing for a long time.
Yep.
And when you're looking at the duration of them being a permanent test playing nation,
yep,
and how they've gone about achieving things, that could have been better. Because the passion is there. You see that country, you see when they lose, they are hurting. Yeah. They want to make that impact, but somehow they've not been able to make that big an impact in ICC tournaments or in against countries where it matters the most in a tournament like World Cup or any other ICC tournament. So yeah, I think that's something which needs to change. You've seen this week has been the week of upsets. Yeah. So they can take inspiration from Afghanistan and Netherlands and look to have at least something to take back from this World Cup. Yeah. Because when you're asking about Bangladesh and semi-finals, when the tournament starts, no one knows. But as the tournament goes on, this chat should be different, like what we are talking right now. And if that is the case, then you know that Bangladesh is doing well.
Yes, no Shakib Al Hasan today. Shanto will be the captain. Now, that's a huge blow for a team that's beaten India 3 times in 4 ODIs in the year 2023. And Bangladeshi fans who are, of course, very passionate, Joy, will believe that if Bangladesh beat India somehow, it should not be considered an upset.
They might consider it, but the truth of it is the record shows otherwise. I mean, this year they've had a record. We've also not sent the best teams out there. Yeah. We haven't been playing too much ODI cricket, and I don't think in these conditions, and remember, they haven't played here in 25 years. So this is a game they're playing here after 25 years. They're playing in our part of the world. In fact, the last time they played here, Zach was also still not playing for India. Zach was hoping to play for India.
Oh, so that was the T20 game in between which they played, right? In between,
not played yet,
but not ODI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, as far as India are concerned, they have a chance to go top of the table. New Zealand, the other unbeaten side in the World Cup. Remember, they notched up their 4th win last evening. This is what it looks like. Joy, for you, which way is this points table going, and which other teams are going to keep an eye on this match, and what are they hoping for, the other teams?
See, if you look at it this way, at this point in time, if if Bangladesh can take points off India, it's good for everybody. Because I don't think anyone sees at this point in time, with all due respect to the Bangladesh fans, I don't think anyone sees Bangladesh as a semi-finals contender in the current form they are.
Yep.
So if they take points of India, that's good, especially for the top teams like New Zealand and all, because then the chance for top 2 finish is higher. So the fact of the matter is that if I'm in the table, I would rather see India drop points rather than Bangladesh drop points, because I don't think Bangladesh is going to make a serious run for it anyway. Yep. But if you look at that table again, I keep telling you that this table at this stage in the tournament is misleading. If you look at New Zealand, 4 wins, great. Okay, you've got 1 big win against England. Who are your other wins against? You've beaten Afghanistan, you've beaten Netherlands,
yep.
and I think you've beaten Bangladesh. Okay,
yep.
So you've not really, those are sides which New Zealand is very consistent in beating.
Yep.
So when you see that 4-4, it's also that the draw is in their favor.
Yep.
Whereas you see Australia's draw is really difficult. They started with India, then they went to South Africa. So they've had much tougher matches up front. So when you see that 4-0 and 1-2, Australia is not as bad a side as you think it is. And New Zealand is perhaps not that dominant a side as it seems to be looking at the table.
Bangladesh, playing without Shakib Al Hasan, have won the toss and they've chosen to bat first. A couple of changes, no Shakib, and so they had to get left-arm spinner in. And so in comes Naseem Ahmed, right-arm medium pacer Hassan Mahmood comes as well. Now, Zach, without Shakib, of course, the team is clearly weakened. But what do you make of this lineup, these 2 changes?
Well, it's a forced change, and the captain sitting out is never a great sign, right? Like we've been talking about it. He had been given that responsibility. Right now, looking at the lead up to the World Cup with regard to Bangladesh side, you know that he was requested to be captain again.
Yeah.
So they knew what kind of requirement they have with regard to his presence as a leader.
Yeah.
And now today's game, he's not taking the field. So obviously, it's going to be a very big blow for them, and you will have to see how they go on about doing their business. Because one thing with Bangladesh side, I've been talking all the time. If they score runs on boards, it's usually Shakib who controls the game. Just because the way he operates, the way he makes those changes in the field with the bowlers. All those factors will be very, very important from this point of view. So we'll have to see how they go on about doing their business in his absence.
Joy, they will miss him more in the batting as much as in the bowling, I suppose.
They'll miss his presence in the field. Look, he's been the ICC all-rounder of the year for so many years. Just look at that batting average in ODI wins versus India. I mean, for those 7 matches that, look at that batting average. 53.67, 450. So he's been dominant. Whenever they have beaten India from 2007 onwards, Shakib has played a
7 out of 8 wins, he's been there.
Yeah, he's been there. And look, he has that, he's a top 5 batsman and he's the best bowler they have.
Yeah.
I mean, he gives you everything. So when you're taking him away, you can't replace Shakib, as he said. So what they've done is they've gone and they've given Naseem Ahmed the ball, which they have to give, because if you're playing against India, anyone will tell you that India is a very strong batting side, but a lot of right-handed batsmen up front. So a left arm, they will need a left arm spinner. What I'm finding very interesting is the fact that they've gone and they have not taken Hassan Mahmood is playing.
Yep.
And if you look at that lineup again, that is a very interesting thing, because who's not playing? I hope it's not due to injury. Tuskin is not playing.
Yep.
And I feel in many ways Tuskin is their best bowler, because what they've done is, again, now look at it, 3 left-handers are there bowling. Naseem Ahmed, Shariful Islam, Mustafizur. Okay, they've decided that left-handers are the way to go against India, take the ball away. What I'm wondering is why Tuskin is not playing. I'm hoping that injury is the only explanation.
He said nothing at the toss, though.
For Tuskin. It's a big,
See, I think
big call.
what was happening with Tuskin, usually he's been bowling with the new ball. Now for this World Cup, they've been trying to use him as one change bowler, looking at the other teams also hit the deck hard in those middle overs with that field restriction. I think that is where the real issue is lying, because you're not sure whether he's comfortable with that role and he's able to adapt to that role, because that's happened very close to the tournament. In Asia Cup, he was opening with the
new ball,
with the new ball. But now in the World Cup, he's given one change and he was bowling very well.
Yeah.
So I think that change happened too close to the tournament, I think, for him to adapt also to that kind of a role. He was settled with the new ball, and maybe that is the reason he's not featuring right now, that there is some disagreement there with regard to the management and his approach.
Well, what about India? India have gone in unchanged. Rohit Sharma said that he would have... he's okay to lose the toss. He would have preferred to bowl first on this pitch. No change. That means this whole news of Mohammad Shami, who was brought into the 12, has not found a place in the playing 11. Was today an opportunity, Zach? Because Shardul isn't anyway bowling the full 10. And you've got to trust your batting and not depend on Shardul to score the runs.
You got to trust your batting and your process as well. And I think it's more to do with trusting the process right now. If you believe in something which you've been believing in for a while now, why change that? From the outside, yes, we've been talking about it. We've been talking about having that flexibility. But the guys who are actually running the show there, they believe in this process. They know that this is going to work.
Yeah.
Then just by outside pressure, they shouldn't be changing it. If they believe in it, they should change it. But you look at this tournament also, having played 3 games, win 3 games. Why do you want to change it? Now, why you want to second guess and doubt it?
Yeah.
So if you ask for my personal opinion, I've been saying that for a while, that if you want to be aggressive, you got to bring in Shami. And against Bangladesh, you don't need that batter at number 8, right? So you can give emphasis to the bowling.
Yep.
But I understand where they're coming from, where they're looking at the longer term vision and they're saying, okay, this is what we believe in. We want a batter at a bowler who can bat at number 8, and that's going to change things. That's going to give Rohit that freedom of going hard at the top and having that little bit of extra cushion. And you want a player to settle in that role. So you've seen Shardul bowling only 2 overs in that match when Hardik bowled 8 overs.
Yep.
So they are saying it's okay with that. We'll find a way of creating impact with the ball. But with the batting, we need this kind of approach, this kind of cushion. And people need to be settled with that thought process and not change too much, is what I'm understanding from what I've been seeing right now.
Well, from what Paras Mamre, the Indian bowling coach, has said, it seems like he's saying there is no room for trial. Take a look at that. He said it's a difficult decision given that Ashwin's there, Shami's there, Surya is a quality player as well. But they're clear that they pick a team that they feel is best for that wicket.
No, look, the truth of it is, I think they're right. They have, you may not agree with them, as I said, with that batsman at number 8, but once they've decided to have a batsman at a guy who can bat at number 8, then they've just stuck to that. Whether they're playing Ashwin or whether they're playing Shardul, they're saying that we want that at 8 so that Rohit can go hard at 1 and 2. Rohit and Shubman can go hard. That's how they want to play. So look to not give in. I just completely agree with him. Don't give in to pressure. If this is how you want to play your World Cup, play it this way. Don't change the process halfway, because that's what's happening on the other side. Because one of the things I'm looking at is saying Mahmudullah, he's not been a part of any plans.
Yeah.
Nowhere. He's not in the situation. He's not in the picture. Suddenly he comes in. Then you bat him at 8. What is Mahmudullah going to do at 8? I mean, if you're going to play a player like Mahmudullah, experienced player, whatever, then give him. Mushfiqur Rahim is your best batsman. He's batting far too late. He's batting at 6, 7. You should be batting him at 3, 4.
Yes, we'll come to that musical chairs in just a bit. But on cricket shows, we often talk about matchups. This one is an interesting one because this one is Rohit Sharma versus Bangladesh. Rohit loves playing against Bangladesh, and especially in ICC tournaments. Now, for this World Cup, our friends at Naukri.com, India's #1 job portal, have worked very closely with the team at Cricbuzz, and they've come up with something called the Naukri Career Score. And we've looked at captains featuring at this World Cup and their performances this year, and take a look at where Rohit Sharma finds himself on this list of 5. Rohit Sharma up top, a total score of 595 as per that very interesting formula that the Naukri team has come up with. It's called the Naukri Career Score. Among captains in 2023, Rohit Sharma at #1. No surprise there, Joy.
No surprise there. And I think if you look at the parameters of what the Naukri Career Score is about, then you'll realize why he's there. I think we have a very interesting chart which is delineating exactly where he is in the various positions in which he's playing.
Yeah.
But no surprise at all. His performance has been absolutely spectacular. And look, he's led from the front. And as I said, if you look at his career also as a player, as a cricketer, I mean, he is a kind of person who's given them that kind of value up front.
Yes, his Naukri Career Score is where all of Naukri's expertise in helping grow careers has been applied to cricket stats, and it gives us a brand new, unique way of looking at cricket careers. Zach, Rohit Sharma clearly is not just at a purple patch, it's a deep purple patch. He's taking on the responsibility. He's okay to take that risk. He goes for the big shots. He's not looking at his own career milestones, 200 plus runs already as well. Rohit Sharma is someone who sort of has set the tone for India in this World Cup so far.
Well, he likes that role. He likes that added responsibility. He's very good with players. He's very good with tactics. He spends a lot of time himself looking at all the numbers. When you're looking at Rohit Sharma, the cricketer, and his career, you can go on and on talking about it. And also the way he started. There was no stability. So I think when you're linking it to the data mining and how the data analysis goes of Naukri.com also. So it's actually falling in nicely with their scope, where you may not start with the ideal scenarios. That's what happened with Rohit Sharma's case also. He was not getting the number. Eventually he started opening. He was not finding a place in playing 11. Consistently, sometimes he's batting at number 5, 6, sometimes he's batting at number 4. Then if the team gets start, he was pushed down. All those kind of things are also a great factor in his early part of career. And then you see Rohit Sharma, the opener, coming into the scene, making use of the opportunity. And then all those double hundreds and the number which he just recently broke, which is the highest number of sixes for anyone in ODIs, is special. And that's the ability he has. So it may not be easy at the start, but if you have it in you, you're going to leave your mark for sure. And if you have it in you to keep pushing yourself, then sky is the limit. That's something which you can clearly see with Rohit also, and the way his career has gone. Like I said, he enjoys the added responsibility of being a captain. You're not thinking about yourself. So I think what he understood very nicely, that one area where you're looking at 50 overs of batting, that first 10 overs, if you see the pattern just 3-4 years back, it was take time in the first 10. And then you consolidate or look to up the ante in the middle overs. He wanted to change that. What different we can do? So he's saying, okay, fine. I want to take that. Being a leader, I need to lead from front, and he started doing that. So he said, okay, in the process, I might put my wicket at risk, but it's fine. Then other thought process which you're seeing is falling in line. And as a leader, if you are able to go out there and do it yourself, walk the talk, then that's the best scenario for you. And that's what he's doing in this World Cup.
Yeah, well, the man they call the King of Borivali has been judged on 4 parameters on this Naukri career score. Here on this graphic, it's evident: longevity, situational performance, win contribution, and consistency. Joy.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it and look, these numbers are very high numbers, because remember, when you're looking at 7, 8, 9, 17, what is it coming from? It's coming from longevity, comes from obviously how long he's been playing, just like a career, how consistent he is. So the first part of the Naukri career score comes from that. Situational performance, that means big matches, small matches, how much of a difference do you make when it really counts? Win contribution means that are you there at the end? How often are you there at the end? How often are you there to finish it? And consistency, of course. Remember, if each team has 11 players, so we are talking about this World Cup consistently 110 top players, and his lowest rank in all of those, and that too because he's an opener, is just 17. That tells you all the rest of the ranks are top 10 ranks. As a quality cricketer, that tells you the kind of thing. In a class of 110, literally, actually it's even more than that if you include, subs and all, about 120, 30, to be top 10 in 3 out of 4 categories and 17th the vote, you can make out what a performer he's been. He's been absolutely superb for India.
Yes, a duck in that first game, followed by 100 and then 86 against Pakistan, 6 sixes as well. And all Indian fans will be hoping that Rohit Sharma continues in the same vein of form and keeps scaling newer heights on what we call the Naukri career score. Let's now talk about the musical chairs. Joy, you referred to that in Bangladesh.
I just got so excited that I keep seeing it, Bangladesh cricket is like a moving, picture. It's a moving feast. You don't know when something is going to change. And Mahmudullah was nowhere in the picture. Even 2 months back, Asia Cup, he's nowhere in the picture. Suddenly he's playing. But then you take him. To take a player like Mahmudullah and play him at 8 is like suddenly asking Sachin Tendulkar to make a comeback and then batting him at 9. I mean, it just, I don't see the point of it. And I think that's where what's happening is, I feel the decision making, what happens is, what are selectors supposed to do? They're supposed to send a message, get a clear say that, again, it's not a player, it's a process. So I want a player like this playing this position. You never say, I want Mahmudullah playing that position. I want a player like this playing this position. I want this. So your process is there first. And I feel One of the big problems of Bangladesh cricket, and because I think they're an emotional people, is that they put people before processes. So they put names down instead of what they want that player to do. And I think that's where they get really stuck.
Yes, they've had this lots of shuffling in their batting order, and someone asked Tauhid why this is happening, and is Ishanto, in fact, who is their captain today, and here's what he said about if shuffling is causing a poor run of form for Bangladesh with the bat. He's saying now we're talking about it because nobody has performed in those new positions. Miraz and I batted in those positions for the left-right combination. We might have two lefties against the new ball. We don't have many lefties down the order. Clearly, this whole phase of transition hasn't worked. Their under-19 stars haven't really settled in, especially with the bat, and this kind of transition is hurting this Bangladesh side.
Well, even if someone is not settling, because it's a chicken and egg situation, right? Like whether there are changes happening, that's why they are not settling, or whether they are not performing, that's why there are changes. So you can't really catch it that way. You need to have a clear-cut vision around this. That these are my players. You've seen with any team doing well. That stability is so important. Whether you get players who are consistently going to perform, but if they're not performing and you believe that they're going to be a good, consistent players in years to come, then you have to create that environment for them. So I think it's not a easy situation. It's a complex situation. But you've seen it. If I have to give recent example, the recent example is Sri Lanka. 3 years, 4 years back, you just go and look at the number of players who've represented Sri Lanka. That number is crazy.
A dozen, I suppose, yeah.
Not dozen. It's, I think,
maybe more, yeah.
More than that. At least maybe a couple of dozens. So that stability was not there within the group. There was no leader. There were some changes with regard to the leaders also. So what happens in that scenario, that stability in the dressing room, that clear-cut path of moving forward, you're going to fail at this level. You're not going to consistently be the team which is going to be dominant. There is still a while as far as Bangladesh is concerned to achieve that, which gives you an opportunity. And that opportunity is identifying the right individuals and then persisting with them. Give them the opportunities. Even if they fail, you kind of have that environment around them where, in a right way, it's not that there is a license to fail. As long as you're seeing the other things, the dedication, the approach, the temperament, all those kind of things, if you keep backing them, eventually you'll start seeing the results and the differences which you want to see. For Bangladesh, this musical chair, as you are referring it to, has not helped their cause for sure.
Their top order numbers since May 23 are not very encouraging. Joy, why this reluctance to not look at Miraz as a sure shot opener? Because every time they've tried it, it seems to have worked. So why push him down the order? Why can't he be a permanent fixture at the top?
I think somewhere, that thought process, why Mehdi Hasan Miraz, because I think he's the most explosive player they have. He is the new Shakib in that sense, can do with the bat, can do things with the ball. But I think somewhere in their thinking, they feel they need to have some stability up front. So Shanto goes early, Litton goes early. And I feel even that, if that also is fixed, if that also they have a very clear mind about it, this is what we want to do, it will still work. Play the same, all I'm saying is, barring injury, which you can't help, play the same formation over 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. If it doesn't work, then change. To change it on a day-to-day, game-by-game basis is not going to help anybody. And
that brittle-looking, slightly underconfident batting order will have to face the wrath of an informed Jasprit Bumrah. Remember, 2 balls being used in a 50-over game, and yet Bumrah managed to get reverse swing. We'll talk about that as well. Now, this is what he's done so far. After coming back from injury, he said, relieved was not a word I want to use. He said, I'm happy to be back and bowling the way I am. Zach, how have you assessed Bumrah's heroics in the 3 matches of this World Cup so far?
India needed this.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it. He has been the leader of the pack for a while. Him not being there, in his absence, we've seen bowlers taking responsibility, and I think Siraj was one of them who took that responsibility beautifully when it came to white ball cricket. But the moment he's back now, you can see that change. You can see that approach from him, and that shift with regard to the whole bowling unit is very evident on the field, and that's the role he's going to play. We've been saying it that if Bumrah is going to be in form in this World Cup, it's going to be a completely different World Cup for India, and that's what you're seeing right now. They've
Yes.
started off very well, and with Bumrah's ability right now to bowl not only with the new ball. Yes, ODI cricket has that advantage because you're not going to blame the other bowler for being being hit, and then the ball changes its
Yeah,
shape,
exactly.
and
You got
the
your own
seam
ball.
goes down, or someone not hitting the seam. As a bowler, if you are hitting that seam consistently, you are in control of that. So, in this format, that's one finer point which a lot of people sometimes miss, is that if someone is bowling nicely from one end, that ball might stay newer, fresher, longer for a while. Coming back to how Bumrah has been bowling with the old ball, we'll actually have to see whether he's changing the end for that and using the ball which is little older. So from today's game, we'll see if that is also the case.
This is why you need the master.
Exactly.
This is why you need the master in the studio. That going with the new ball with your own ball, but the other ball will be more scuffed up. So going with the other ball on the other side.
Tell us
Absolutely
how he
brilliant.
does that slower ball, because there's no perceptible change in action. He's got a short run up, almost walks in and then jogs a bit, and then that slingy action, and just does this at the last moment. How does he manage to do that without any real change in his action?
Well, that's something which comes naturally, it's skill. So there is a lot of skill involved with regard to that. But how he gets the ball to dip is by releasing a little bit earlier than when he's bowling the slower one. Then the seam up delivery, if you see, the release is very late. But with the slower one, it's early. But the arm speed actually doesn't slow down. So that is the key. The fingers rolling of that, anyways, he creates that awkward angle. So it's very difficult for batters to read that because the arm is going anyways in that direction. So even the seam up delivery, pace on, will also have that kind of a release from the batter's view. So that makes it even more difficult. And that one delivery which we've seen, if he's in rhythm, dips very nicely and difficult for anyone to read.
Rizwan and Shadab are not going to forget those two forever.
Yeah. I can see that all the team's video analysts looking at this delivery. Okay, where is he released it? Okay, there it is. But it's so difficult during a game to read something like that.
No matter how much video analysis you have, it's as a batter, I'm assuming it must be really difficult to spot that ball coming in like that.
Yeah, it is. It is very difficult, and for any team right now, we've seen that that first spell of Bumrah, they want to see it off. They don't want to take extra chances or extra risk against Bumrah. So that is something we have to see how it goes in the tournament. If any team is going to think otherwise, or everyone is going to fall into that kind of a mindset. And if they do, it's going to be great news for India. And that's the difference we're talking about, right? It's the reputation also of Bumrah which you are playing against.
Yep.
And it can be overwhelming.
59.9% dot balls from Bumrah is what I read somewhere at this World Cup. 59.9%. That's a massive number. And I'm sure that also helps the cause for Siraj at the other end as well. So it's all linked in this sport. A quick look at the two playing 11s. Bangladesh have won the toss and they've chosen to bat first. Two changes. No Taskin, remember, no Shakib Al Hasan. He's injured. Taskin's out for not sure what reason, but in come Nasum Ahmed, the left arm spinner, and Hassan Mahmood comes in as well as part of the bowling lineup. No changes for the Indian side. Mohammad Shami was part of the 12, but India have gone in unchanged, and that means that Shardul Thakur will get a chance to bowl. Once again, how many he'll bowl? Nobody knows, only Rohit does at this stage. Time for Joy Factor, sir. What have you got for us today?
Okay, I wish it was a question Berlin, but it's not. Thanks to a brilliant catch by Shakib Al Hasan, what unique feat was achieved in a test match in which a current US cricketer made his debut? So, test US cricketer means obviously he started somewhere else, but a US
Has to be Indian origin.
See, the one thing I can tell you is the other side, if Shakib Hasan has taken the catch, you know which country is involved. One side, one country, which is involved.
Joyda has simplified the question itself.
But a change has given us some clue on how to crack this. And you've got about 100 overs, no, maybe less. Given how India is playing these days, maybe you'll have fewer overs to be able to crack that. Quick predictions, gentlemen. Small boundaries, Dinesh Karthik from Pune has told us it's a belter of a track. Lots of runs in the pitch.
Okay, then we can still look at 260.
Okay.
I was going to go for 265, but since he's gone at 260, I'll go at 245. I'll underplay.
221. Abad.
So now he's become very brave. You know,
No,
last
one thing
time
is for sure,
Yeah.
he doesn't believe DK at all.
No, no.
No,
I will tell him next time.
No, I believe-
DK, what do you think?
Yeah.
Look, I
Your
believe-
anchor thinks
DK,
you know
DK
nothing.
has given the information. It's a belter of a pitch. It's going to be a great day for batters.
But-
Bangladesh have won the toss.
Bangladesh are
batted
batting first, so I
don't
believe in
believe
them
DK
more.
It's going to be
See,
220.
It's all linked.
We need to call DK right now.
Yeah.
Just
So we have
It's
to
done.
go. Harsha Bogle's taught me always go with cricketing logic. Don't let emotions get the better of you. So I'm going to go with 221. And also, thoda bahut Indian bhi hai na andar. So anyway, so 221 is my prediction. What's yours? You can tweet to us. Also remember to send in your questions with hashtag AskCricBuzzLive. We'll try and get Zaheer Khan and Bhattacharjya to answer them in the mid show. But we'll see you again at the 15 over mark on Cricbuzz. Combox, enjoy the game. See you in a few minutes. Bye. Bye for now.